Hey, and we're back. And see, I started out today by letting you know that, of course, it was Super Bowl Sunday, right? So this is video 13, and of course, we know the Cheeseheads prevailed today over the Steelers. So I'm an old Brett Favre fan, so I don't care who he's playing for. I always see him playing for Green Bay. But anyway, that's nor here nor there. But hey, welcome back, and we're at video 13. For the next couple videos, I want to get a little creative in how we approach our last two open chord progressions, which are going to be A and F, which are two actually very usable keys. And so what I'm going to do is go through them just like I normally would as far as open chord progressions, but then we're going to get really cool and do some real creative things with the capo. The capo is really the most exciting part for me because I'll tell you this, when I look at these two keys, when I look at A, when I look at F, they're not really open keys. There's a lot of bar chords involved in this, and so if you're using them in that practical sense, then you'd have to play most of it in bar chords, especially in F. And even that last key we went through in E, I mean, beautiful key, love it tremendously. But when we twist this thing in just a little bit here, we're going to take that capo and we're going to start dropping it on different frets, and you are going to love the way this pulls together. I'm going to summarize with a couple real open forms. Now that we've used the term open harmonized chord progressions, I'm going to switch it. I'm going to switch it a little bit and just start using like D form or G form, which means the key of G or the key of D, but those form chords will form different keys as we put that capo on it. So I'm just kind of walking you into that and preparing you for that. Hey, the other thing I told you too is I really want you to start getting comfortable with the 5th and 6th string, the E and A string, and the D string too would be really good, especially for the D form chords as we start dropping that capo, since we know the root of the chord would be D. Each time we drop the capo, it's going to move up one step, and that D was on the 4th string, so you're just going to have to, you know, the 4, 5, and 6 string, which are the bass strings of it, basically, is what I'm telling you about or asking you to do. And it really is important, especially up to about 5 frets. And as you take a look again, and hopefully this is going to be easy for you. I hope that the guitar neck at this point looks like it'd be inverted properly for you to see this. And it's a little crooked. I'm trying to straighten a few things out, and you can tell too it's a little darker in here because it's now nighttime. But just take a look at this, and let's just kind of do this real fast together. You remember I said about the E, right? E open, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, 5th fret is A, and that's where we tune that. You've got an A string that's open, A sharp or B flat, 2nd fret, B, B, C on the 3rd fret, C sharp on the 4th fret, and D, of course, on the 5th, which would tune the next string, which is D. So it would be D open, D sharp or E flat, E, and of course there's no flats or sharps between the next two, so that would go from an E to an F. 4th fret is F sharp or G flat, and then you've got G, and of course we know the next open string is G. And that's what we talked about earlier, tuning. But you know, that little exercise where I was doing go backwards. Just take that and try and make it where the notes sound clean. Okay, and again, I'm not even getting to scales yet, but this is just something to help you make those single notes sound clear and precise. And again, clarity is better than speed. So what you want to do is, if you've got a metronome, like we talked about earlier, Luke helped me a little bit with that, with the 4/4 timing and the 3/4 timing, but get yourself a metronome and it'll have different speeds, and just make sure the speed is slow enough at a 4/4 timing, which is like 90 beats per minute or below, and then speed it up slowly but surely. But really is a good idea to have a metronome as far as in the beginning while you're learning. Timing's going to keep moving. Okay, so we are on the key of A. Okay, let's take a look at that for a minute. That is page 24, and so it's getting a little harder to see. I apologize for that. Can you see that okay? Let me try one little change here and see if I can get a little bit better exposure. Try this enhanced mode, which might kind of pull it in. That looks a little bit better to me. I think it does to you. But anyway, you can see in that key of A that you're going to have A, B minor, C sharp minor, D, E seventh, F sharp minor, and that G diminished, of course, is going to be a G. Okay, and a lot of those chords, in fact, as I look at them, we've really played all those, and so that's what's kind of cool. In open chords, those open chords seem to repeat, but for the sake of going through the open chord progression, let's do that. Okay, and we've played the A before in the different keys, like in A, or excuse me, like in D. We've played this once before, but an A, of course, is an A because it has open. The open A stays open, and you're just going to drop these 2, 3, and 4 right on the fourth. From the fourth on down, you're going to go to the D string on the 2nd fret, and you're going to just drop your fingers right down in a row, boom, till you cover all of them down to the B string, and the E string remains open. Okay, and I'm sorry, I'm really having to put my body in an awkward position, so forgive me. A, then of course the B minor, which was the 2nd fret bar. It's like the A minor moved down a whole step, or you can play it as a 5 chord. Okay, so A, B minor, or as a 5, that clock chord that we talked about earlier. I'm trying to keep my body positioned here. Now the C sharp minor can be played as the clock chord, or it can be played as a pure minor, just like the A minor to B minor to C sharp minor right there. So that's all you're doing, is you're taking that A minor and you're moving it up using this as your bar, and we're on that 4th fret for that C sharp minor. And D is pretty simplistic. We did that once before. In fact, I'll bet most of you learned D before you even started watching these videos. D is one of those chords. I don't know what it is. I love it. It's a beautiful chord, and a lot of beautiful songs written with that chord right there. But the D, and then we're going to go up to an E, or if you want to make it into an E7th, I'm going to show you a real easy way. Do you remember your A minor form? You're going to move your A minor form up a whole, just move it up one string up all the way. And again, I'll review it. Your number 1 finger is going to go on the D string on the 1st fret. Excuse me. Yeah, D string. G string. Pardon me. G string on the 1st fret. Then you're going to take your 2 and 3 fingers and put it on the 2nd fret. A string 2nd fret and D string 2nd fret, and of course it's an E chord because that's that real pretty one, I really like E. That was the last progression we did, and again I'm just trying to hold myself in a position where it looks clear to you. That was the one where I added my pinky and made it suspended, pulled my pinky out, kept it a major. Now a 7th is pretty easy to accomplish. You're just going to pull finger number 2 out. I'm sorry, finger number 3, forgive me. As I told you, it's getting later, but I really want to get this done for you. So E major, pull number 3, finger out, it's a seventh. Kind of a pretty chord. You'll hear sevenths a lot in like blues progressions. A lot of sevenths used. Or sevenths are what, again, I used them earlier as a turnaround. It's a turnaround chord, like that G progression that went to the D seventh and ended back up on a G. But this E major, E seventh. And then simply your F sharp, I'm going to use as a claw chord. Okay, that was that one we did before, both in the key of E and in the key of D, where your F sharp's grabbed on the top on the E string, 2nd fret. There's your F sharp. You're going to skip a string, go down to the D and G string, and drop down fingers 3 and 4, and just play that. Now, something I'm going to it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to try and get a little closer. But believe it or not, that top finger here, it is muting this A string. Even though I've skipped it, you can hear that that A string is muted. It's actually muted. Let me see if I can finger it down closer. So F sharp, muted. So I just want to make sure we see that in context. I'm just touching 3 strings, and your B and E string at the end there is played open, but just a real pretty chord. That was the one we turned into a G sharp minor and a C sharp minor and all kinds of neat chords from that claw chord. But in this progression, since we're in A, that's the F sharp, and then of course we don't really use diminished or augmented chords in practicality, so we're going to end out on a G, which is we've done many times, and you can do that a bunch of different ways. Okay, there's one form. Here's my favorite form. But this way here, if we do it with this, with the pinky down on that G at the end, it's real easy to transition back to other chords. And then, of course, we're back to A. So, let me grab my pick. Let's just kind of go through the progressions at the 4/4 timing. And again, just real nice. I have, it's very rare to see someone capo using A form. Okay, so we have covered A major. I am going to come back for video 14. We are going to cover the key of F, and then we are going to go capo crazy. So, hey, you're doing great. Press into this. Press into this. Because I know, I'm going to apologize for something right now. I'm an abstract thinker. You know, we all have our strengths and our weaknesses, but I know if you work at this and you work at these harmonized chord progressions and you learn this in this way that I'm showing you, I really believe it's something very creative and explosive is going to happen in your life, and just open up avenues rather than just teaching songs. And I'm not opposed to doing that, you know, teaching you D, C, and G, and teaching you songs in D, C, and G, because you're going to do that on your own anyway. You're going to find a couple worship leaders you really like. You're going to find some websites, Worship Together, Jesus Culture, IHOP, International House of Prayer. I mean, there's incredible basis of worship leaders and chords and songs that you can find on the internet. But, you know, Jesus is interested in what's in your heart. There's a song in your heart, and that song is going to come out as you become intimate with the Lord, and you become intimate with this. You know, I have not said this yet in this series. I've said it in past series as far as video series, but the guitar is just an extension of you. I'm going to say that again. The guitar is, it has to turn from a something foreign that's sitting out in front of you to part of you. I literally many times wear my guitar around the house just so I become comfortable with it. I want it to become a part of my body because it's just an expression that I want to use and lifting my worship. That was that real good Super Bowl food that Holly made, and so it's Holly's fault. But the key is we are simply extending our instruments as a part of who we are and lifting up the songs and singing songs and hymns and psalms as Colossians talks about. But I'm just really excited because I know, and I want you to know this, I do know that because of the spirit that's behind what I'm doing and preparing this, that there's something contagious. You know, we can actually, in a good way, just infect, in a good way, one another with an intimate fire. And that's what I hope you get from me, is that this fire has been burning in me for 30 years, and I love it more now than I ever had before. And key to this, I once went to a vineyard worship conference back in, I think it was 84 or 85. Some folks from the vineyard in Las Vegas that I had special memories with. But anyway, we went to Anaheim, California, and they were kind of like the mother church to the Vineyard Church in Las Vegas, and so we got a lot of great information. But there's a guy by the name of Eddie Espinoza, and I think he's still leading worship, and I so loved his intimacy. But he said something very powerful, and that was that every time he comes in a time of worship, so that it's fresh, his prayer is, Jesus, I want this to be a fresh love letter today that I write to you. Even if it's songs I've done 1,000 times, today I'm going to make it fresh and I'll make it intimate, just like I'm putting my pen to the first time on paper and writing this out as you would to a love letter for your if you're courting someone, or just a fresh expression of worship, because the word love is so misused, but it's the most powerful weapon alive. Worship is a powerful tool. Jesus, basically in his final duel with the enemy in the temptation, said, to worship the Lord your God and him alone. You shall have no other gods before you. That we pay homage and honor and glory and blessing unto Jesus, unto the Father, unto the Holy Spirit. We lift our songs of praise, and empowerment happens. And as God arises, the enemy is scattered in our midst. And so that's why it's so important to take what you're learning here and centralize that in your worship, and the Lord is going to write beautiful songs through you. Hey, this is Joe Cash. This is video number 13. I went a little over my 20 minutes, so gosh, I hope this one uploads. But hey, I'll see you for video 14.